All right, let's start off with this video.
Let me take you back 74 years.
Austin, can't hear it.
No sound.
There's no sound. Austin? Can't hear it.
I'm not getting any sound here either.
Yeah, no sound.
I should want to go
No
through
sound.
it again.
Austin?
The only regret for all our.
Start over.
Can't hear it.
Yeah, start over. Now
I'm not getting any sound here either.
Yeah, no sound.
Let me take you back 74 years. We are the warriors of the great. I should want to go
No
through
sound.
it again.
Austin?
The only regret for all our final curtain
Start over.
call.
Can't hear it.
And soon
Yeah,
we'll
start
be
over.
leaving this
Now
I'm
we
not getting any sound here either.
Yeah, no
Look at
sound.
these old warriors get.
Are you guys getting weird audio?
It was working fine, and then the audio went off, and then it started over again, and it sounded good.
Okay.
That echo.
Okay, hold on a second. Technicals, here we go. All right. We're gonna try one more time. We're going here.
No worries, you got it.
We got it. Okay, it opened up another screen that started playing the audio on my computer, which is not what we want. Okay, video starting. This is Jack Foy.
Let me take you back 74 years. We are the warriors of the greatest generation. The generation that has taken their final curtain calls and soon will be leaving this stage of life. Look at these old warriors gathered here today. They're yesterday's heroes. We were soldiers once and young, the vibrant youth of that time. Men who were here in those terrible battlefields 74 years ago. In combat, we found the closest brotherhood we would ever know. We found selflessness. We found we could love the other guy in the foxhole more than ourselves. We found that in war, men who love life would give their lives for us.
We feel the spark in us. We got the golden touch. There's royal blood in us. Chosen for this. When darkness overcomes, there's still a light in us. Destiny rising and chosen for this.
The war may have ended 74 years ago, but for us and the families of those who died in that conflict, it will never end. Not a man among us would want to go through it again. The only regret for all our friends and comrades who never returned.
We're here today to honor Roy Tallhelm, who is the youngest American soldier killed and buried here in World War II. 17 years old.
We come to remember and honor the 400,000 American soldiers who died in World War II. We remember and honor the thousands of soldiers and sailors in Veterans Hospital across our nation, their minds and bodies destroyed by the horrors of war. What we did, what we experienced, represents the love of our country, the love of our religious faith, the love of our fellow citizens, and our love of freedom. We saw what a lack of love and a lack of freedom could do. We saw the concentration camps. We saw the slave labor camps. We saw the prisoner of war camps. We saw the vile inhumanity of man against man. Tears still well in my eyes. I remember all the friends I left on the field of battle in towns and cities of Europe. Were you a hero in the war, Poppy? My grandchildren sometimes asked. No, but I was in a company of heroes. From where, oh God, came such men as these? The warriors of the greatest generation. A generation has taken their final curtain call, and soon we all will have left. The battle smoke has fled. Now only memories and the dead. Thank you. May God bless you. May God bless America.
We feel the spark in us. We got the golden touch. There's royal blood in us. Chosen for this. When darkness overcomes, there's still a light in us. Destiny rising up. Chosen for this.
I think it's one of the best moments of our life because we take us, and this is very, very important. So thank you.
Thank you for being
We
here.
too, we too, we too, we too. I love you.
Yeah, thank you for being there.
All right.
Wow.
Boy.
Wow. Mr. Foy, I mean, guys, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what does. Jack Foy, what does that mean to you to see that video again?
Yeah, that was great.
Get on the bar there, Butters.
Yeah.
Sit up by now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that video was last June for the 74th anniversary of D-Day. And
2 years
we had the privilege of taking Jack Foy along with a few others back to their battlefield. So Jack, what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was completely overwhelming. I really wasn't in the action there on D-Day. I came in a little bit later with General Patton's army. But I mean, those little French villages and everything we went through, they're all pretty much the same. So it brought back some good memories and some horrible memories.
You can
It
imagine.
was quite an experience.
Yeah. What do you think about all of the, all of the people that come out? I mean, because I think a lot of people in America don't really understand, when you get a group of people like World War II veterans together, and just the output of the French people when there's a World War II veteran there. I think the attitude is different because they were occupied by the Germans, and the Americans came in along with other allies to liberate them. And you guys receive a pretty amazing welcome when you're out there.
Oh, we sure did, especially those little school kids. I was very surprised with those young children, maybe about 12, 14 years old, how much they knew about the invasion and all that. They learned it in school, and of course their grandparents told them all about it. So they know quite a bit about the history of the invasion.
Yep. Yeah, the people in Europe, they educate very well on World War II, and they have a lot of respect and admiration for you guys.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it is really special. It really is special. I mean, it's great to give you guys an opportunity to go out there and to see it firsthand. Because you think after 70 plus years ago, it's amazing that from the youngest kid to the oldest grandparent, they don't forget, and it's so special.
Sure is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it really is.
I'd really wish that more of our own kids would know more about the war. My own children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren do, because I told them about it. But
Yeah.
they're taught in school today for those. So there's so many leftist professors, especially at the college level, that are so anti-American that it hurts. I used to have about, this time of year, I'd have about 12, 14 schools to give talks to. But now, of course, they're closed right now. But normally, in the last year or two, I've only had maybe 4 or 5. Just the teachers, the old teachers that I dealt with for years are gone, retired, or died. And the new young teachers are taught by the professors, more or less, what did America ever do that was great? That seems to be the attitude of a lot of the school people.
Yeah, how are you staying occupied right now, Jack, with the coronavirus and everybody's kind of staying at home in the quarantine? How are you staying active?
We're in good shape here. Carol's taking good care of me, keeps me fed, and everything.
For you?
Well.
Is she cooking for you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So Jack, what we're going to do here is we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube right now. And so we're going to invite some people in who are watching, and they're going to join our conversation. They're going to ask you some questions. So it's a lot of fun. So while I send out that link, Jack, I'm going to play this video real quick, and then I want you to tell us what this moment was like for you. Coming in hot.
You look good, Jack. You look good. Jack enlisted in the Army right out of high school. He fought through brutal months of the campaign in northern France. On Christmas Eve, after marching nearly 100 miles in the snow and sub-zero temperatures, he arrived outside the town of Bastogne in Belgium. For 2 weeks, Jack fought under ceaseless artillery fire and helped push the enemy back from a critical road. At one point, a mine blew up and it destroyed his vehicle, badly hurting many. He was wounded 3 times, but he kept on fighting. After the Allied victory at the Battle of the Bulge, Jack fought for the remaining 9 months of the war, across the Siegfried Line, up the Mosel River, through the Rhineland, and all the way across Germany until he reached the gates of Ohrdruf concentration camp, the first Nazi camp to be liberated. That was #1. That was a big, big event. as Jack has said about the Battle of the Bulge, when the chips were down and the situation was desperate, the American soldiers stood up to be counted. For a brief moment in history, these men held our nation's destiny in their hands. We did not fail. Thank you very much, Jack.
Jack, talk to me about that moment.
Wow.
That was just completely overwhelming to have the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, address you in person by name. I was sitting maybe about 10 feet away from him, right in the middle of the Trump family, the rest of his family. And to have the president talk about me for 4 or 5 minutes like that was, I'm still on cloud nine, you might say, about it.
Yeah.
Completely
Quite a moment.
overwhelmed. Yes.
Quite a moment.
It was strange. A couple of days before that, I got a phone call, and the woman on the other end of the line says, I'm Macy Mount. I'm the secretary to the President of the United States in the White House. And I said, yes. So what else are you selling? I thought it was a phony call. She said, no. She says, it really is. She says, if you have any doubts, hang up the phone and call back on the White House number, and they'll connect you right back up. So
wow.
Then she said, so what do you want? She says, well, the president has chosen you to represent the men of the Battle of the Bulge and the men of World War II in his talk on Veterans Day in New York City. And I said, well, heck, I says, I'm a 94-year-old man. I says, I don't want to come down to New York City by myself. She said, oh, no, your son Kevin can come with you. You will arrange all the transportation. And we got the tickets, the hotel reservations, airline tickets and all. And we went down a couple of days later and went to this park right in the middle of Manhattan, Madison Square Park. And called a certain number on the phone, and 2 big husky Secret Service men came out and ushered us right in. Past all the security was very tight.
Yeah.
Ushered us right in and sat us down right in the middle of the Trump family. And Lara Trump was sitting on my left, and she keeps patting me on the arm. Now, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. They treated us like kings, though. It was just a completely overwhelming experience.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful, Jack. I mean, it's a great honor for you as a natural hero, but also like what you represent, all your brothers and sisters that served, great ambassador to that generation. Thank you.
That's what I told the president. I said that I accept your honors. I says, not for myself, but for all the rest of the men in my company, especially those who didn't come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Cool. Well, Jack, we got a lot of people wanting to come in and talk to you, so we're going to start bringing some people in.
Okay.
Right now, we're going to bring in Joseph. Let's see if Joseph's there. All right, I can see him. It's connecting to audio. Joseph, can we hear you?
I don't see him yet.
Hey, how's it going?
There he is.
I can hear him.
There he is.
Joseph, how you doing? How old are you? Where are you from?
Speak up, Joe.
Hey, I'm can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah,
You got a question
I can hear
for
you.
Jack?
Okay. I'm 27 and I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, that's where I'm originally from. I've been
We can hear you.
I think it's delayed.
Oh, okay. You're probably don't watch it on your screen. Don't watch the live YouTube.
All right.
There is a 20-second delay on that.
All right, is that better?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
No
so
problem.
I'm 27. I'm from New Jersey, and I've always liked history. So I've I saw you guys on YouTube, so I've been following all the content you have.
Right on. Thank you.
Austin does a fantastic job of putting together those incredible videos to capture the moment and to preserve those memories. He does a great job.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's important, like Jack was saying about history and what we're taught. It's important to remember that and pass it down through generations, because it is it's a tough thing in history, and it needs to be remembered forever.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Forever. And it will. But
yes, it will. We got anything to do with it, it's going to keep going forever.
Yeah.
We'll get the real story out there.
I have a question for Jack. All those years you fought, and then coming home, and all the decades you lived, how were you able to just get through life and just keep pushing through and creating a family and stuff?
Well, I was very fortunate. I had a good family, and when I got back home, I wasn't quite certain what I was going to do when I went into the plumbing contracting business with my father. And I've had a good life, a good family, no major problems. So I'm extremely fortunate. I still sometimes, though, in the middle of the night, I can hear the artillery coming in. In my dreams, I see the white snow cover the ground with all big holes in it from the artillery shells. The memories do come flooding back sometimes, but that's about it. Other than that, I've been very fortunate. Thank you for your message.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
What do you?
Hey, Jack, talk about your transition coming back. I know, a lot of people went to college. They got the GI Bill. What was the transition like for you? As you know, we have a lot of men and women that are serving in Iraq and Afghanistan and around the world, and looking towards your generation to see how you guys were able to do that. You have any advice for any of our military?
Well, back at that time, in my last year in high school, they had what they call the ASTP, Army Specialized Training Program. They had a lot of real tough exams, physical, mental, and that. And evidently, I passed the mental test with flying colors. And the idea was to send us to college. I might be bragging a little bit. I say the cream of the crop. They wanted to send us to college, and in 2 years cover the 4-year engineering course. We go into the Army Engineers. Well, I passed everything with flying colors, and I got a message from the Army, the Secretary of the Army, and he said, "You have your choice of Harvard, Yale, Cornell, MIT, Princeton, and a couple others." And I chose I was just a 17-year-old kid, and here they're offering me to send me to Harvard University. Well, anyway, I chose Cornell out of the list, really not because I thought Cornell was any better than the others, but it was closer to home. I had never been away from home before. Gosh, Niagara Falls is about 70, 80 miles from me here. And back then, if you took a trip to Niagara Falls, it was something you talked about for a year. It was a big deal. But I went to Cornell anyway, and they covered the first year of engineering, and then they closed the Army just decided they needed infantrymen more than they needed engineers. So they pulled us all out, sent us into the infantry, most of us. And I spent 3 years in the infantry with the Army. And anyway, when I got out, I was going to go back to Cornell, but my father and older brother had a small plumbing contracting business. And I went into decided to go into business with them. I discovered that I liked working better with my hands than sitting behind a desk drawing plans. But there are so many advantages. Back then we had the GI Bill, very much like we have it today, that they pay all the expenses, and these young fellows are foolish and they don't really take advantage of it. Because there are so many good colleges you can go to, or if you don't want to go to college, there's technical schools, all kinds of things you can do.
Yeah, they have a lot with the out processing now in the Army. Like you said, you could be a blue collar worker, go to college. There's so many good avenues. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to like do it and take advantage of it. You know, playing in the NFL, you know, we have a whole bunch of programs, services, and benefits to players who played the game to help them be successful when they make that transition from the game of football onwards to the game of life. But unfortunately, sometimes we have guys who don't partake in the services and just don't take advantage of the opportunity. And I think that if we just, you know, I think deep down inside, we all think that we're tough and we don't need any help. I got it. It's almost like asking for directions, right? Like, no, I got it. We figured it out. But I just think if we take advantage of the benefits that we've earned, I think we'll be better off for sure. But you got to just do it, like you said.
I like that you're a Cornell man. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Cornell man. Like, Jack's probably never seen The Office, but anybody who's seen The Office knows the Cornell man. That's pretty significant.
Hey,
all right,
hey,
Joseph,
Donnie,
thanks for joining us, man.
All right,
Yeah.
Donnie and the crew.
Donnie, I heard your
Thank
name
you.
mentioned.
Hey, Joseph, make sure that you send us a little DM and we'll send you out a BDF shirt. They're really nice and comfortable.
Okay. Do I do
Send
it
a DM on like Instagram or Facebook.
Instagram?
Yeah.
All right. Donnie, Austin, thank you for you guys what you do. Jack,
Absolutely.
thank you for telling your story. It's hard, but it needs to be taught or spoken of. So
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir.
all right, have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Jack, what were you saying?
Hi.
Hello?
Jack, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying, I thought I heard your name mentioned the other day at the NFL draft. Are you going back in?
Well, I was thinking about, I've been working out.
Why not?
Working out. I think I'm good for about 2 plays. Just 2 plays.
Gronk's coming out of retirement. Why not you, Donnie?
Yeah, right. Well, Gronk is only 30 years old. I mean, yeah, I played until I was 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to bring in Angel. I think
All
that's right. Angel.
Hello, Angel.
Hello, is it Angel? He's connecting to audio.
Yeah.
All right, I can't hear him yet. We can see you, Angel, but we can't hear you.
Says it's connecting to audio.
Yes, it does. Oh, yeah. We're connected. So, Jack, while he's connecting to audio, tell us about that, what's around your neck there, that piece around your neck.
Oh, this is the French Legion of Honor. I got that from the French, the president of France, about 3-4 years ago for action in the Czar Valley, right on the French-German border. I took out a German machine gun nest there someplace, one of the little villages.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
I was able to get in close enough and lobbed a couple of hand grenades into it and knocked it out.
Wow.
Back then I was young and foolish doing things like that.
That's what happens when we're young, right? That's what happens when we're young. I can't believe I played the game of football with those big old guys. You see how big those guys are. What was I thinking?
Okay, so Angel looks like he can't hear us and we can't hear him.
Hey, we're having problems with your audio. It says connecting to audio.
All right, well, we're waiting for him to figure out. Let's bring in someone else. Let's bring in Daniel. Oh, hi, Catherine. It looks so weird how you just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, come forward.
Hi, Jack.
Hi,
Hey,
Catherine.
we
How
talked
are
to-
you this beautiful day?
We talked
Well,
to
I'm really
Daniel
good
before
now that I
here.
see your face.
It's nice to hear your happy voice.
Oh, you look so handsome.
Oh, yes, yes.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
All right, Daniel, can you get your audio connected? Hey, Daniel's audio is connected. Can you hear us?
Is that Dan? Is it Angel?
This is Daniel down here.
Okay.
Daniel, can you hear us? We talked to you
Yes.
before, didn't we?
Yeah, do you remember me?
I do
From
remember
last
you.
call.
You're in Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right. So, Jack, this is Daniel, and he's in Spain coming in to ask you a question.
And I also know Angel. It's my friend.
Oh, really?
Oh,
You guys are friends.
Yeah.
Oh, Angel got his audio connected too.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
We got friends in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys both in Spain?
Yes.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, why don't we
From
start with
high school.
Why don't we start with Angel since he was in here first? Angel,
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay.
You got Jack. He's all ears.
Okay, Mr. Jack, I would like to ask you, how did you feel during your first combat?
Scared as hell.
That's honest. That's certainly honest for sure.
I'd be lying if I told you anything different. There was the type of thing that when you're in combat, you're there. There's not a damn thing you can do about it, and you might as well make the best of it. But you can still be scared as hell. But it kind of wears off after a while. But if it gets to a point, there's something wrong with you if you're not afraid of what's going to happen when I go around this next corner, because you can never tell.
Hey, Jack, do you think early on, I'm sure you had that fear early on, but as the war went on, just like anything, like old hat, you get used to it, and you can tell with the new guys coming in, and they hear some artillery going off or some type of motors and stuff like that. You can tell it's different. You almost get conditioned to it a little bit, right?
Oh yes, you got used to it, and like you say, the artillery coming in, you could tell you hear the shells coming, and you can tell pretty close how far away from you it's going to hit. So you know whether to hit the ground or not. But you do tend to get used to it, but you're still scared.
Yeah, no, certainly, absolutely. I can't even imagine. I mean, screaming and everything.
Well, like in my company, going into the Battle of the Bulge, we had about 190 men or so left in the company at that time. And we're in there for about 6 weeks. And we came out, there's 40 or 50 of us left out of almost 200.
Wow. That's I don't know if you guys can put that into perspective. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah, they weren't all killed.
Yeah, but
About
taken out.
Casualties
for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did a lot of praying, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Daniel, what do you got for him?
So my question was, what was the most important thing that the war taught you?
So what was the most important thing that the war taught you, Jack?
Yeah, what'd you learn from your experience during the war?
It taught me to love my fellow man an awful lot. I lived growing up in a rather sheltered community here in Rochester, New York. And when I got into the Army, met people from all over the country and learned to appreciate different customs, different likes and dislikes, things like that I wasn't used to. It exposed me to a lot and most of it I liked. Just completely different lifestyle from what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have another question that what medals do you have?
What mementos? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like he
Medals.
said, what
Medals.
medals
Medals.
and ribbons did you earn?
Oh, he's got his shadow box right behind him there.
Oh yeah, maybe you could.
Yeah, I got a bunch of medals there. I got my old helmet up on the wall here.
Jack, go grab your helmet. Go grab your helmet. I had the pleasure of wearing this helmet at Jack's house one time.
Medals too. If it's not attached to the wall, you can describe some of the medals that he has.
Yeah. I was completely surprised at how heavy these stinking helmets are.
There we are. I don't remember it being so heavy. Of course, I was 75 years younger too.
Yeah.
Yeah, these were pretty good helmets. They were used for everything. It has this is the liner inside of it. And we used to cook in this thing, boil potatoes, use it for everything.
For real?
Wow. Literally a pot.
Yeah. Yeah. More than once though, this helmet, and this was my own helmet. It really saved my neck, especially in the artillery shelling. Those little tiny pieces of steel would be flying all over the place.
Wow.
And many times I hear it whang where it hit the helmet.
Oh,
And if
man.
I didn't have the helmet, that would be like right through my head. Yeah.
Wow.
So Angel has a reproduction
yeah.
of a helmet.
Yes.
He has a reproduction of that helmet?
A reproduction helmet.
Look.
Put it on.
No, this
Put it on.
this
Come on,
is-
Angel.
Put it on, Angel.
Put it on. Join the party.
Hold on,
Now I wish I had one.
Let me get my pot. Let me get my pot.
Oh, Donnie, of course, has one as well. So, Jack, tell us about some of the medals you're really proud of behind you there.
Oh gosh. Well, first here's a picture here. I guess you can see it. That's the I said when the president was talking about me, I stood up and saluted him. He points his finger at me and says, "You're looking good, Jack." You're looking good."
All right, Jack, put your hat on. Oh, put your pot on.
Jack, Donnie wants you to put your hat back on. Oh, he can pull the medals down. Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's some of the medals I got from Uncle Sammy.
You want to point out and describe some of those for us?
Yeah, this is the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Cross, the Good Conduct, Europe Theater, and these are all various campaigns that I was in over there.
Cool.
Very cool.
So I have here Bronze Star medal, an original, and it was given to a soldier called Eugene H. Hawkins, but I don't really know who he was.
Wow, how'd you end up with that?
I bought it from a museum in Normandy.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Have you done any research on him and found out his story?
Yeah, so there's little information on internet, but I know he died on 1967, and I have like how do you say, it's identification number
Yeah.
from the army, but I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
Hey,
Jack,
I got it here. Called Commander Model of Airsoft.
Is
something real?
Yes. Can you see it? That?
Oh, it's decorated. Is that an
Oh,
eagle?
wow. Is that a German gun?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it had the Iron Eagle on. That's what I thought I was seeing.
Hey, Jack, did you
very well.
also have a sidearm piece? Did you have a 1911?
Yeah, I started out either I had half a barracks bag filled with pistols and guns and stuff like that that I picked up. I was lucky. See over there, everything you picked up, if you picked up a souvenir someplace, you had to carry the dumb thing. So you didn't carry anything too much. But I had a connection with the cooks, our company cooks. So I had a spot on their cook truck there, and they used to throw the stuff there. But I had several Luger pistols.
Mm.
I sold one to the captain of the ship I was on, coming back the USS West Point, and I got like $200 for it. Now $200 doesn't sound like an awful lot now, but back then, $200 was a good 2 weeks pay.
Yeah.
So I did pretty good with it. And I still have, I got a carbine and a couple small pistols, some pictures and stuff like that. More than enough.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Very cool. All right. Well, Daniel and Angel, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get some more people in here.
Nice
Okay.
talking to
Watch
you
the rest of
guys.
this game.
Bye.
We'll get some more good stuff.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank
Jack,
you.
All right.
Hey, Jack, what do you think about these young kids
Thank you.
from Spain?
From Spain.
Yeah, they're in
It's
Spain.
hard to believe. They're more interested than most of the boys around here are.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we
All
have to.
right. Cool. Well, have a good day, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Let's get some more people in here. All right. So somebody just commented on YouTube, Jack Foy for president. I'm down.
Yeah,
I like it. I
That's a
like
good
it.
idea.
I'll tell Donald when I talk to him again.
Yeah.
Hey, well, that
Hey,
There's Connor.
that's a familiar face.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Connor.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're doing well.
Doing
We're
well.
doing well. We got Mr. Jack Foy from
Hello, Mr.
Rochester, New York.
Hi, Mr. Jack.
how you doing, Connor?
Might I say something? Is that okay? I
Yeah,
just
sure.
wanna thank you for your service and sacrifice for what you did. And without you, the world will be totally different.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
true.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Now, Connor, we've met you before, but Jack hasn't. So go ahead and tell Jack how old you are and where you live.
Hello, Mr. Jack. I am 15 years old, and I'm live in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Oh. Uh-huh.
Well, you got a
So-
question for him?
Of course I do.
Of course he does.
Before I ask him a question, my other interest is about the ancestry thing. Do you know what ancestry is?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
My mother has ancestry on her phone, and we got a whole history of our family.
Oh, that's interesting. Finding where you came from, who your grandfather, your great grandfather, like that.
My great grandfather was born in Texas in 1918, and there was no electricity, and his father was a farmer, and his mother was a stay-at-home housewife, usually work at the gardens. And my great grandfather grew up with 14 children, 9 boys and 5 girls.
Wow. Wow.
And my great grandfather was in World War II. Also, he had flown in Europe as well.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Hey, Connor,
Mr.
hey, Connor, on your ancestry.com, are you and I related?
No.
You look similar.
You do look, he looks like a little version of you, Donnie.
Yeah, right? A Mowgli.
Mr. Jack.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me who your parents' names were and your brothers and sisters, please?
Oh gosh, that would take too long. I come from a large family too. I have there were 10, my mother and dad and 10 children. My mother came from Germany. and my father came from Ireland.
Mm.
I've never really gone hardly any farther back than that.
So, did any of your siblings serve in the military?
Yes, I had 3 brothers who served during World War II, and so there's 4 of us then during the war. And let's see, a couple nephews that served in Vietnam.
So, are any of your siblings still living?
Yes, I have. Well, let's see. No, I think I only have 1 sister left.
And how old is she?
She'd be about 90 now.
Wow. And you're 94 years old?
Yeah, I'm 94, almost 95.
So,
he's one of the young ones.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, we
So-
just who just turned 100 years old? That was that Ed Burke,
Franz
right?
Turner?
Ed Burke.
Ed Burke,
Burke did.
100, and we have Francis Turner turning 101.
This
Jack,
month.
you remember Francis Turner? He's turning 101 on April 29th.
Yeah.
Mr. Jack?
Yes.
So, can you tell me who your parents' names were?
Oh gosh, Charles Foy and Mary Schrummel, the German name for it.
And how long did they live?
Oh gosh.
He's
My
really
father
putting
lived
it-
up into his 89, I think, and my mother was 70 something.
So, which battles and campaigns did you participate during the Army during World War II?
Oh, the Czar Valley, Battle for Metz, the Battle of the Bulge was the main one. Then crossing the Moselle River, then a couple of days later, the Rhine River, all the way across Germany. We liberated several concentration camps. We ended up in Czechoslovakia where we met the Russian army.
So, did you ever cross the Siegfried line?
Oh yeah, yeah, we fought the Siegfried. That's as we came out of the Bulge, we ran right into the Siegfried line.
Yeah, Jack, we took you back there several years ago. Remember we
Yes,
saw
we did.
the Siegfried line, dragon teeth, right? Is that what they call it? Dragon teeth?
Yeah, that was to stop the tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Connor, you know, when you go out there, especially where Ralph, I don't know where Ralph is, if he's still on here, but not too far from Ralph's house, you can still see the dragon teeth. It's still there. And a lot of farmers just use it as like a border between neighbors now. And remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Talk about history. It's really special.
Mr. Jack?
Yeah.
So, where were you stationed during the Battle of the Bulge?
I wasn't stationed any place. We were moving around all the time.
Yeah, he was just pushing
He was
through.
with Patton. You know, he was with Patton.
Yep.
You were with Patton?
Yep.
Yeah.
Patton's Third Army.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
was.
tell me about your experience?
Oh yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah, no, we were on the west side of Bastogne. Our job was the Germans were trying, the 4th Armored Division had just broken through the south end of Bastogne, and the Germans were trying to close that off. It was our job to keep that road open on the west side of Bastogne.
Wow.
It
So
was a lot of
Connor-
fun. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Connor, have you ever heard of George Snyder?
George Snyder? No, never knew him.
Well, I'm Connor. George Snyder, actually, he was a World War II veteran who lived in Lafayette. I actually went to his house and interviewed him there. You should look up. He passed away last year, unfortunately, but he was one of our guys, and he was a great guy. But you should look up George Snyder, who lived in Lafayette, and check him out. Like, get his history. He's got a really cool story.
Wow.
Local to you.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Jack,
Yeah.
Can you show me the pictures when you were in the Battle of the Bulge and what campaigns?
Oh, there you are, right there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And put it a little closer to the screen, Jack.
Yeah, bring it closer.
And what kind of gun did you hold during that picture?
Oh wow.
It was an M1 rifle there, but most of the time I was a machine gunner. The light 30 caliber machine gun.
So, describe Patton. What was Patton like when you were in the 87th Division of the Patton Third Army?
Well, I only met the man once, and we're just getting ready to jump off in an attack just outside of Bastogne someplace, about the 1st or 2nd of January. It was down to 10 below zero, and you never see anybody above the rank of captain any place near the front lines. All of a sudden, this Jeep pulls up with 3 stars on the front of it. It's Patton himself. He jumps up on the hood of his Jeep and screams at us, "Kill the SOBs, kill the SOBs." He says, jumps back in the Jeep and takes off. So anyway, that's what we did.
Jack?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you familiar with Alexander Patch?
With what?
Alexander Patch, the general of the 7th Army.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him, yeah. I've heard of him. I never knew him.
All right, Connor.
Hey, Connor,
thanks for joining us. We're gonna let some other people in.
Hey, Connor, did you receive your shirt yet?
No.
Okay,
All right, it's on the way.
By Monday,
Okay.
right?
I have one question to y'all.
What's that?
Do you know Jack Holder, the Pearl Harbor survivor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We took Jack Holder back to Pearl Harbor in December.
Can I talk to him once you get him in line?
Yeah, we're gonna be
go live with him or not.
We haven't gone live with him yet, but we're gonna be premiering our Pearl Harbor video here pretty soon, and we'll have him
hopefully get them live with it.
Yep.
All right, Connor.
Connor, have a good day.
Man. Thanks for coming by.
I'll talk to
You
you
too.
later. All right.
Thanks, Tanner. Thanks. It's nice talking with you.
Yeah.
Good kid, huh?
Yeah. All right, let's get someone else in here.
Well, while you're getting somebody else, I got a letter in the mail here about 2 weeks ago from the White House.
Oh yeah?
Read it.
Yeah. And it says, "Dear John, as Commander-in-Chief, I thank you for your service in the United States Army during World War II. As a young man, you courageously fought in the Battle of the Bulge and helped liberate innocent prisoners from the horrors of Ohrdruf concentration camp. The forces of freedom emerged victorious because of the bravery and fearless spirit of the greatest generation, your generation." Last year, I was honored to pay tribute to your dedicated service at the New York City Veterans Parade and extend our nation's sincere gratitude for your sacrifice and our freedom. Melina and I are inspired by the strength you exhibited. We hope your heart is filled with joy knowing you have experienced many of our country's greatest blessings, including the affection of many friends and family over a long, well-lived life. May God bless you and keep you. And it's signed, Donald Trump.
Wow.
Wow.
Pretty impressive to get a letter from the president.
That's a great
and a shout out.
That's a great recognition.
Cool.
I see
All
that.
right, Alex, can we hear you?
Hey, how you
Yes.
doing?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. All right.
Mr. Foy,
Alex, you're on with Jack Foy.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thanks to the guys at the foundation for making this possible. It's a great opportunity to hear from the veterans themselves. I'm from Michigan, 25 years old from Michigan. I work as a news reporter, so I've been fortunate enough to interview a couple dozen World War II vets.
Cool.
First question for you would be, talk about the conditions that you were up against at the Battle of the Bulge. The weather was horrible. Talk more about the different conditions that you were up against.
Well, of course, the temperature at night would go down to easily down lower than 10 below zero. And one problem was we didn't have winter clothes. We had clothes that were suitable for the fall of the year, but not the winter. They never expected the war to last that long. They thought we'd be well across Germany by Christmas time. So the going was pretty tough, and the roads were horrible. Let me tell you one terrible thing about the roads. I saw a tank was right alongside of us, and one of the road was all icy, and a man 3 or 4 ahead of me in line, we're marching alongside of it. He slipped, fell right underneath the treads of that tank. The tank never had a chance to stop. Just you can imagine what that would do to a man. And that wasn't the only things like that were happening. Our food supply was well, rather intermittent, because we lived off the land a lot, and it seems that every farmer in Belgium there had what they call a root cellar. It had all kinds of stuff. I remember living for 3 or 4 days, and what I found out later were rutabagas, whatever they are. There's something like some kind of a root plant, but they filled us up anyway. But it was the worst winter they'd had in Belgium in about 100 years.
Wow.
So
Another
it
question.
was tough. We lost almost as many men from frozen feet. Frozen feet were a big problem. We had regular army shoes, and they held the water real well. They get soaking wet, and you're crossing the stream or something, and guys were actually losing their feet.
What was your mindset during the battle? What was the morale like amongst the men that you were with?
The morale was generally good. We knew what we were doing. We knew what we were there for. And like we heard about the massacre at Malmedy, the word for that went around real quick. And I think the Germans were very sorry they ever did that, because their own soldiers recaptured didn't get very good treatment, especially the SS troops we caught after that Malmedy massacre.
I'll leave it to one more question for you. What were the concentration camps that you came across? What were the names of those?
We had 2 of them. The first one we came across was Ordruff. And there's right about in the middle of Germany someplace. I don't know just where. But that was one of the first ones to be liberated. And I remember, well, we couldn't stay. We blew the gate down and went in and saw what it was. And they sent back, and even Patton came up. A couple of days later, Eisenhower, all the big wheels, the brass came up to see what these camps really were, because they really didn't know. But we had to move on, and a few days later, we came across Buchenwald, which was a very large camp, and it was just indescribable. You've all seen pictures of they call it the men in the striped pajamas. That's what they look like. These clothes that these inmates wore. They were almost all, I'd say 90% of them were Jewish people, and others were Catholics, and there are all kinds of a few Russians. But the living conditions are just people died because we treated them so good. The normal thing is you knew that they were starving, and the normal thing, you reach in your pocket. Well, the average GI may have a can of soup, a couple of candy bars or something. And the first thing you do, you pull it out and you give it to them. But that was the wrong thing to do. Their stomachs had shrunk so badly, so much, that they couldn't take any amount of food. Our medics were running around screaming, "Don't feed them! Don't feed them!" And later they came in with set up kitchens, and they started off just feeding them like chicken broth and that for a couple of days, and gradually the same thing with a couple pieces of chicken in it. Gradually increased it.
When would that have been that you guys came across Buchenwald?
What's that again?
When would that have been when you came across Buchenwald? Was that April?
April, towards the middle of the month, the 10th, the 12th, or something like that of April.
Right around this time of year then, wow. That's all I had for you, sir. It's a pleasure to talk with you today. Thank you for your selfless service to our country. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys, for having me on. Take care.
Thanks, Alex. Hey,
Thanks for coming.
A t-shirt, all right?
Sure thing. I'll do that. Thank you.
Sure. All right, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
All right, let's get somebody else in here. Who's that guy, Jack?
There you go.
Hey, look at that handsome young fella. That looks like a movie star.
Does look like a movie star. When was that picture taken?
That was when I first just got back from Europe.
Very
back
cool.
in 45.
Look at that handsome fella.
Yeah.
All right, we got Zach coming in. Zach, make sure there's no audio on your computer. We had a little bit of echo, so I muted you. Just make sure you got no audio playing.
Can you hear me now?
Austin?
I can hear you.
It's completely dead audio on the computer.
Let's see.
There you are.
Hold on a second. There he is.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
This is awesome. Jack, thank you so much. Thank you for my freedom. Thank you for my family's freedom. This is just awesome. And Donnie, thank you for what you do.
This is easy. We love this stuff.
Yeah, no, this is.
So do I. So do I. I'm a big history buff myself.
Hey, you know what, Zach? It's all about, taking care of the ones who took care of us. And that's that guy right there and his brothers and sisters as well, because we're all so blessed. I mean, and I think about my life, and I'm one of 11 kids that have an opportunity to go to college, to get a master's degree, and to play pro football, change my life, and have this opportunity to give back to the ones that gave so much to me, like my grandfather. So this is just wonderful. So thank you for your interest.
That's great. Could you hear a little background music? I've got my wife, my baby here, the whole family actually.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
Guys, Warren's quarantined.
We're on the couch. We're watching you guys.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Jack, you're on TV.
I'll make it quick, Jack. I do have one good question for you.
Yeah.
What's one of your fondest memories throughout the war? What's one that you look back on and smile about?
Oh, gosh. That's kind of a tough one. Of course, we're always great coming back on the ship on the way back to New York. We went over on the Queen Mary.
Wow.
Wow.
There's
Hey,
17.
Hey, Jack, sorry to cut you off, but last month we were on the Queen Mary. We had a little.
Yeah.
Did you see those pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful ship.
Isn't that a beautiful ship? I crossed on that.
That was my first time on it. So I never knew what to expect. It's massive. And what a beautiful, beautiful ship. That was my first time. And I was just mesmerized thinking about like all of you guys have gone over the Atlantic on that. It's amazing.
No, not on that one though. We went over on this one's grandmother.
The grandmother.
And our accommodations weren't quite so deluxe. I slept in the swimming pool of the original Queen Mary. We were stacked about 8 high or so in these bunks, which weren't too bad unless the guy on top got seasick. Then it wasn't so good.
No.
So they drained the swimming pool and put beds in there?
Yeah, they drained it. But
bummer. They didn't let
you guys must
have
have been relieved coming home. I'm sure all the weight was off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, they probably
I've seen those pictures, the videos, everybody waving at you as you're pulling into the harbor.
We got a tremendous greeting in New York Harbor, coming by the Statue of Liberty with all the fire boats out there.
Oh, wow.
Putting their streams up in the air. It was was really quite an exhilarating experience.
Wow.
That's awesome. Very cool. Jack, so I got to tell you, I'm also a contractor. Did you say you were a plumber?
Right.
That's cool. I'm in HVAC. It actually has been a good few years, really good, up in Chicago.
Yeah, I did a little of that, not much. Most of it was plumbing, small plumbing contract.
Small plumbing
Just had a few guys.
That's cool. It's in our blood. We like to work with our hands.
Yeah. Everybody, you know, when you tell them you're a plumber, they laugh at you until they get the bill.
That's right.
What? You're charging me $60 an hour?
And then you walk away laughing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. Donnie, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
reach out to you sometime down the line. I want to make a nice donation to you guys.
Oh, wow.
It's unbelievable what you do. I really appreciate it.
That's how we keep this going.
This
Yeah.
country needs what you do. So thank you, guys. And thank you, Jack.
Hey, Zach, we'll send us a
Thank
DM.
you.
We'll send you a shirt, all right?
Awesome.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Later,
well,
guys.
All
Bye, Jack.
right,
Thank
bye.
you.
All right.
Enjoy the baby.
Yeah, gotta enjoy that baby.
That's Adam. Hey, hey, Ralph, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, Ralph, how far is it? Because we were talking about the dragon teeth, and I know that you went out there last year. How far is that from where you live at?
15 minutes.
50 or 15?
15 minutes.
Okay,
15
cool.
minutes.
It's
Wow.
just across the border, really. It's all the way from Aachen down to southern Belgium, really.
Hello.
Part of France. So.
Hey, we got Adam here.
Hey, Adam.
Is that your name, Adam?
Pardon?
Is your name Adam? Is that right?
Yes.
All right,
My name
cool.
is Adam.
Where you
Adam,
from?
you're on live with Jack Foy.
Oh boy.
How old are you? Where are you from?
I am 16 years old and I live in St. Louis, Missouri.
Very
All right.
cool.
So you're a Chiefs fan, right?
Pardon?
So you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, right? Since you live in Missouri.
I'm not that much into football, but baseball I am into baseball a lot.
All right, that's good. All right. Got a question for Jack?
Yes. What were your thoughts? You went back to France last year in June, correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
What were your thoughts about going back to Normandy?
Well, I wasn't in the original invasion of Normandy. I came in a little bit later with General Patton's army. But we went up around the Bastogne area where I had fought a lot around Bastogne, and it was funny. I could almost. It was the middle of summer when we were there, around just the first week in June, but I could shiver, I could feel the cold again. 10 below zero weather, and I could hear the shells coming in.
My grandpa, he was a veteran of the Bulge as well, and he served in the Patton's Third Army. I think he was deployed to Europe like a week or two after the Bulge began. And he said the one thing I remember was it was cold. I think that's one of the things he said.
That's the first thing most of the Bulge veterans remember. You start talking about the Bulge and they shiver.
Yes. And another thing was that last year my high school band went to France for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. And it was an amazing experience. And when back in I think September, when I saw a video on National Defense Foundation's D-Day video, it reminded me of that trip.
So you were there for the 75th? Is that what you said?
75th anniversary, yes.
We were there too. Jack wasn't there.
Yeah, Jack.
We probably saw you there. Did you go up by the big monument there at the cemetery to practice a little bit?
We were there on, I think, June 7th because we were late because of an issue on our first flight, but we played at the American Cemetery in Normandy on June 7th.
Oh. Yeah, we saw several bands there, so yours was probably one of them.
Yes, we were wearing black berets.
Uh-huh.
Cool. What do you play?
They probably did see him.
Baritone.
Baritone?
Yes. It's a good instrument.
Oh yeah. Do you have it close to you right now?
Yes. It's actually in here. I carried a smaller version called the euphonium. This is the concert baritone. The euphonium's like this, but a lot smaller. I'll tell you the first part about it. The challenging part was trying to hold the euphonium because we had like only a couple days to prepare for France for like marching and formation and all that.
Yeah.
Like holding the euphonium for like 15 minutes straight, that was hard.
Well, how about you give us a little 10, 15 second, a little, I don't know if you know anything like Reveille or I don't know, something would be cool.
You gotta keep it in perspective. Think of Jack. He had to hold a machine gun for how long?
Yes. So
play us a few bars.
I'm sorry, I had a brain fart. What were you saying?
You want to play a little bit?
Bars.
Like 10 seconds?
Give us something to dance to.
Sure.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see it.
I mean, I could play like notes for like 4 or 5 seconds, but I'll try and play.
Chance.
Jack will get up and dance if you move him right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
This is pretty good.
I know it's not a song, but it's a few notes. Another thing.
What got you interested in World War II?
Well, my grandpa, when he passed away in 2008, I was like 11 days away from turning 5. And when I started learning more about his past, I started becoming more and more curious about history.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say his death kind of inspired me to look into World War II because I didn't know anything about him until much later on in my life, like when I was like 10 or 12 years old.
Okay.
So his death was an inspiration for me to look to World War II and speak to the veterans. And I love doing it all the time.
Great. It's great. It's going to take people your age and younger to carry on this tradition and carry on their memory, their stories. We're doing our part, but everybody's got to do their part to make sure these stories continue on well past any of our living veterans.
And you can research your grandfather also.
Pardon?
To find out what he did in the war.
Yes.
Yeah. And plus there, Adam, the archives is right there in St. Louis.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a funny story. So my dad, when he was a kid, he saw my grandpa had 2 campaign stars on his European campaign medal, and he asked my dad, and my dad asked my grandpa, "What battles were you in?" And my grandpa said, I don't know." How do you not know? And he said, "We were just told to go here, and we just went." But we do know he was at the Bulge.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's a famous little quote by General Patton. He says, we went through all these towns, I forget the name and names I can't pronounce, but all I know is that we kicked their butts. It's a pretty famous quote. I don't know if you've seen it before.
There was one story where Patton was told not to take this town because he would probably lose too many men. He replied back saying, "I took the town yesterday. Do you want me to give it back to the Germans?"
Yeah. That was the town of Liège.
Ah.
Liège.
I remember that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patton, he was a son of a gun, but he was our son of a gun. So
yeah.
You could say he was a good general, but I have done a lot of research, Jim. Like there was this one time we had a class project on a film, and I did my review on the film Patton from 1970. And they did a really good job of the film, but there was like one scene where he slapped a soldier, and it said that he did that twice in real life in Sicily, and he got relieved of command. But he was a good general from what I've researched.
Yeah, times are different. Times are different. Just to go back, I mean, that's, the hazing that we had playing football. As you know, playing football, I mean, we used to do bull in the ring. It's crazy coming to, like, some of the stuff that we did back then that you look at now wasn't really acceptable. So, as time goes on, things always are changing for sure.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. You have another question for Jack?
So let me think. Hang on, give me a second. I gotta think. I'm sorry. I didn't think that far ahead.
We put you on the spot there.
Put you on the spot there. Yeah.
It's cool if you don't have anything else, but I mean, I know you just want to probably come in and say hi, and we're glad that you were able to come in, and we're gonna start doing more and more of these. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I watched the one with Guy Whidden.
Yeah.
Yes. I have seen the full interview from like back in September last year, and I loved that interview 100%. I love it.
Cool. Very, very cool.
Good.
Thanks for coming by, Adam. And send us
and one more thing for Mr. Foy. Thank you for your service. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, son. Appreciate it.
And Adam, make sure to send us a direct message on Instagram or Facebook, and we'll send you out a shirt.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good one. All right, so I'm gonna play this video real quick while we bring in the next person. I don't know if many people have seen this video, but this is one of my favorite videos that we've done with Jack. It hits me every time. And let's watch this while we bring someone else in. Can we hear it?
No, it's not playing.
Oh, it's not playing.
You have to.
I love this.
More than 10 decades have passed since those terrible days when we endured the mud of the Tsar, the bitter cold snow and ice of the Ardennes, the dank cellars along the Rhine, the German machine gun fire, the terrible artillery barrages, the constant fighting and killing. Back home in America, the Western Union telegraph lines hummed with those dreaded messages. The Secretary of War regrets to inform you, your son, your husband, your father was killed in action, bringing tears and sadness to homes across our land. We come together today to honor and remember my comrades. We come to remember and honor the 400,000 American soldiers who died in World War II. Tears still well in my eyes. I remember all the friends I left on the field of battle in the towns and cities of Europe. Not only on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, but many times every day. Why them and not me? Did somebody else take the bullet intended for me? Lord God, may we never forget. May this nation never forget the pride of American youth who gave their lives, were wounded and captured, or went missing. Over 1,500 men are dying every day, and soon we all will have left. The Ardennes woods are silent now. Now only memories and the dead.
That's a tough one.
It's a beautiful video, Austin. Makes us always remember.
Yes.
It's always important. Austin, you're on mute. Yeah.
All right, so we got Grayson in here. Grayson, okay, you should be able to hear you now.
Hi, Mr. Foy. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Grayson.
Well, first I would like to start off.
Oh, Grayson, your audio is kind of choppy. I think you're handling your phone too much.
Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Foy, for your service.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And also, I was wondering, so you were in Patton's Third Army, and you served in Bastogne. So, did you relieve 101st Airborne then?
Yeah, we were on the column that relieved them. Yes. In fact, I have several friends that we've been on these trips with that were in Bastogne, and we always give them the needle. Yeah, we saved your butt. If it wasn't for us, you'd be pushing up stones in the graveyard. No, we were doing great. We were doing great. Hell, they were out of everything. Another day, leave a shot. But yeah, I was on that relief column going to relieve the 101st.
I absolutely, hey Jack, I absolutely love it when you guys go back and forth on programs when we have 101st Airborne. You like, we saved your butt. No, you didn't. We are totally fine. We didn't even need you. Oh, I love it. Just like, but that's the way it is amongst team. On the same team. Like, no, we got it. I'll bet, So it's just that bond and that brotherhood, which is pretty special. I love it.
What was their condition when you came in? Was it was it debatable whether or not they could have kept going, or?
What's that again?
Grayson, maybe it's your connection with your headpiece. Maybe unplug that, just go off your phone because it's very choppy.
Yeah, take off your headphone or just use your phone. Maybe it's on.
Yeah.
Is that better?
I think so.
It kind of sounds the same, but go ahead. Try asking the question again.
Okay. How obvious was it that they needed to be relieved? Like, was it debatable whether or not they could have continued fighting, or was it like really obvious that they needed help?
Okay, so how obvious was it that they needed relief? Was it debatable of whether or not they could have done it without you, or was it an obvious situation, Jack?
Oh, it was very obvious. They were almost out of ammunition. They had several buildings filled with wounded men that they had to get out. And another couple of days they were there, they would have been completely out of ammunition. And who knows whether we'd be able to stop the Germans or not. It's pretty difficult. No, it's just that they won't admit it. The 101st never admits that they needed any help.
You guys had to lay the hammer down. Hey, just Jack, what was the attitude when you guys are going in?
The attitude, well, we hated the Germans so much. It's hard to say now, why did you hate people like that so much? But we did. I mean, you see guys blown up right alongside you and shot and that. You don't feel too good about the guys who are doing that. And so there was a great feel of elation, you might say, entering Bastogne and rescuing the 101st, what was left of the 101st Airborne Division, because they took an awful beating.
What was it like for you to go back when you went back for the first time after the war? I think I was there on that program with you. What was it like for you to go back and to see the town, 70 plus years later in a different where you saw it?
Yeah, there wasn't an awful lot of, they say Bastogne, but Bastogne was in the center of it. There was very little fighting actually in the city of Bastogne or the town. Yeah. Most of the fighting was in the little villages surrounding Bastogne. Like my particular thing was a little town called Tillay, and it was about maybe 4 miles from the west of Bastogne. And that's where we did most of our fighting in that area to stop the German army had come around the north side of Bastogne, and we're trying to push south to cut off the 4th Armored Division, which had finally broken through a road through to Bastogne. So it was pretty touch and go there for quite a while, whether we could hold on or not.
Yeah,
those Germans were good fighters.
Did you know at the time that, you look back at, because there's always, little points in life where, where you think that, what we're doing today is going to have a major memory in the future. Did you understand the impact that battle, winning that battle, especially the Battle of the Bulge, will have the impact that it did back then, now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was the biggest battle our army was ever in. The largest battle of 90,000 casualties in that battle. Imagine it. About 50,000, 55,000 wounded, 19,000 were killed, and about 20,000 taken prisoner. So it was the biggest battle in the history of the American Army.
Yeah. So at that time, did you guys think that, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, did you understand the significance of what that battle was in terms of the future of where we are now? 75 years later, that importance of that actual battle back then.
Yeah, of course, we didn't realize the significance of it very much. We knew that with all the publicity that was coming up, people were getting newspapers from back home and like that. And that was how you realize what a big battle it was. Because really, the average infantryman, you know what's going on 100 yards to your right and 100 yards to your left and 100 yards in back of you. That's your whole war.
That's it. Yep.
You don't know what's going on 20 miles away, or sometimes you don't even know what country you're in.
Yeah.
You try to look at the signs. Is that French or is that Dutch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right about that. I never thought about that. Wow.
So Grayson, where are you from and how old are you?
I'm from California. I'm 18 years old.
What part of Cali?
Huh?
What part of California?
I'm kind of foothills area, Sutter Creek.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for joining us, and send us a direct message on either Instagram or Facebook, and we'll send you out a shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining in.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. And
Thank
I was
you.
wondering, how often are you planning on doing these live streams? I'm going to be a military history major in college next year,
sweet.
and I'd love to continue
Good
doing
info.
these.
Well, we've been doing them. We've been trying to do one midweek and one on the weekend. So just follow our pages on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we'll make announcements a couple days before.
And Grayson, hey, send me an email for sure. Send me an email and let's talk. I think your generation and your importance of pushing it forward so we can continue this message. In the future will be wonderful, and we'd love to have your help. As you know, we're all volunteers here. So we'd love to have you, a part of it and, pushing our mission forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That would be amazing.
Thank you,
and Mr. Foy, thank you for your service once again.
Thank you. And if you're going to be teaching history, it'd be a good time to get a hold of some of these old guys. I mean, we're all well up in our 90s, and who knows? So you want to talk to them now while you still can.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right.
Thank you.
Well, see you later.
Bye-bye.
So Jack, somebody just sent a donation here on Facebook and they said, this is Ramen. It's got a great logo, Sum 41. I love it. He says, hearing Jack speak is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I hope that every U.S. vet lives the longest and happiest life possible. What you men did was something that is beyond words. Thank you so much, Ramen, for saying that and sending a donation.
Thank you.
This is so cool.
Thank you.
I love this.
Appreciate
it. Let's get someone else in here.
How you doing, Jack?
Bringing in
We're
Alan.
doing
Yeah,
good.
you still doing good, Jack? You having fun?
Still holding up.
All right, we'll do a couple more. We'll do a couple more questions.
Oh, looks like we got a military guy coming in here.
All right.
Okay, so we're waiting for Alan. Somebody asked in the chat also, have you ever run into any former German soldiers on program or like when you go back to Europe?
Yes, I've run across a couple of them, and of course, usually they will. You'll never find anybody that claimed that they were a Nazi.
Right.
They were just drafted into the army and they had to fight, which may or may not have been true. But it was like at the end of the war, we're bringing in German soldiers by the thousands that we were capturing. and they're all Nix Nazi, Nix Nazi. You know, they all claimed that they were just drafted into the army and they weren't Nazis. They weren't in favor of it and all that. But you kind of felt for it. One thing at the end, when we were attacking a small town someplace, up near Czechoslovakia, let's say, there would be the Germans, they would put a blockade across the road. And instead of regular army units, there'd be a half a dozen old men who were usually veterans of the First World War, and a half a dozen young kids who were 14, 15 years old. Well, the old men, as soon as they saw us, they stick their arms up, come out, comrade, comrade, we give up. And we take them prisoner, but the young kids, they wanted to fight. That's all they ever heard all their lives was that Hitler stuff. And they believed in every word he said. And so it was hard. The first couple of times, you know, you try to talk them into surrendering, and they wouldn't. And so we had to shoot, and you felt like you were shooting your kid brother, but something we had to do.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we got, is this Alan? Is that your name?
Hi.
Hi. How old are you? Where are you from?
Brazil.
Brazil. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool. Well, you got Jack Foy.
Brazilians fought with us in World War II.
Absolutely. Brazil was great allies in World War II.
Absolutely. Especially in Italy.
Hi, Mr. Foy.
He says hi, Jack.
Yeah. Hi, Alan.
Everything okay with you?
Oh, I'm very fortunate, doing quite well.
Awesome. I'm military in Brazil. Here in Brazil.
Very cool. Thanks for choosing to serve, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, right on, man.
It's a pleasure.
Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to talk with you.
It's good to hear from you, Alan.
Crazy. Just connecting all over the world.
I know, this is wonderful. I mean, it's amazing to take.
Sorry. I only have one question to you.
Go ahead, Alan.
What is your feeling about your living there in the World War? What your feeling to serve in the war?
My feelings.
What was his feelings on his service?
Yeah.
Well, back then it was a lot different, in that the whole country was together on it. It wasn't like the Vietnam War here, where half the country was against it. But we were treated quite well. We were treated very well when we came back from the war. I would say at least 90% of the soldiers that served, and sailors and all that, were glad that they did, and you felt good about yourself. You did something to help save your country. That's about it.
What do I need to do to have more light in my life? Working with military, like you.
Uh-huh.
How many years have you been in the military?
Yeah.
How many years have you been in the military? Alan?
Yeah.
How many years have you served?
I don't understand.
How long have you been a soldier?
I'm soldier in Air Force in Brazil.
3 years.
How long?
4 years.
How many years?
7 years.
7 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm captain.
Cool.
Oh, you're a captain. Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So what have you learned, like, of the history of Brazil in World War II? Like, have you learned a lot of that history? Is it taught where you live?
I'm like to learn about Second World War, and with veterans of United States, it's important to me to learn with my sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's okay.
It's important to me to learn with you, with to talk with you, Donnie and Donnie Edwards and Mr. Jack Foy.
Yeah.
To
We're glad that we can do this for people.
No,
What?
This is really, really neat actually, because like it's not just isolated towards America. I mean, this is going worldwide, you know what I mean? And it's nice that, you know, that you're able to connect with Jack Foy, you know, all the way from Brazil. And it's really special. And, you know, and sometimes when you have things that pop up in football, we call it making an audible, right? You got to just make a change. And with the coronavirus and everybody's kind of isolated, you know, this gives us a great opportunity to look at something that we didn't think about doing. Now, all of a sudden, we're doing this twice a week now, giving you guys an opportunity to connect with the veterans, because it's so important that you don't hear from us, but you hear directly from men like Jack Foy. And it's an honor to have you on all the way from Brazil. And thank you.
Thank you all.
Very cool. Thanks for coming on, Alan.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye.
Thanks, Alan. We appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Jack, how you feeling? You want to bring in a couple more?
Sure.
All
Still feeling good.
Let's get a couple more in here.
All right.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Just says D and J. I don't know if we got two people or if it's a DJ.
Hey, Jack, it's pretty crazy, right? To get people from all over the world. You got young kids from Spain, you know, a kid from Brazil, you know, that are watching us live right now. Watching you live. It's amazing. Amazing impact you guys had on so many people around the world. It's amazing.
Yeah, when I think of our radios back there in World War II, the small radios that infantry carried, if they were good for half a mile, it was pretty good. Yeah. That was about it.
Yeah, now we have these devices here, these phones now. You can't even see it, but these phones now, it's amazing what you can do with it now.
I was giving a talk at a school a while ago, and I was talking about the difficulty in communications between units and that. And one of the kids said, well, why did you use your cell phone?
Yeah, right. What's wrong with you?
All right, we got, how do you say your name? Is it Alfik?
He's on.
Sorry, you're muted. You're muted. Let me unmute you. Can't hear you.
Yeah, he's muted.
We cannot hear you. We'll try and get him unmuted.
Can't hear you.
No.
How do you say your name? Is it?
Shalev.
There he is.
Oh, there you are.
You're muted. You're muted.
Okay. So hi guys, I am 18 years old and I am from Israel.
Israel.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh.
Okay. Go ahead and mute whatever you're listening to. Like, are you watching this live right now?
Yeah.
Okay, we can hear an echo.
Yeah.
You don't hear me?
I can hear you, but there's an echo because we can hear what you're watching as well.
Ah, 1 second.
There he is.
Sure. You hear me now?
Okay. I can hear you. Yeah. Go ahead and ask your question.
And I am from Israel. You hear me now?
Yeah, you have to mute
your mute your computer or whatever you're watching.
Yeah,
are you watching this live right now?
Yeah.
Okay. We can hear an echo.
So I don't. You hear me now? Okay.
There's an echo because we can hear you. Yeah. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. So well, you hear me? No.
Hold on. So I muted you. I muted you temporarily because we can hear whatever you're watching it on. We can hear the echo. So yeah.
Yeah. 1 second.
Okay, I think it's quiet now. All right, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Now, I don't know. I also, it's not for me. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I muted you temporarily because we can hear.
Muted.
Okay. Oh shoot. Yeah. Sorry, Ofek. We can't. All we're getting is the echo of whatever you're listening to.
1 second.
Okay.
I will check.
Okay. All right. So while he gets that figured out, we'll bring in somebody else here.
Wow, from Israel.
I know he's from Israel. That's cool. Love to hear his question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. We got someone else coming in. They're connecting to audio. This is D&J again. Okay. So once he gets that figured out, we'll bring in.
How is it now? Now?
I know it's from Israel. That's cool. Yeah, we can still hear whatever you're listening to.
So move to another one, and I will check it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's bring someone else in here. Let's see what do we got. Who's this? Michael Schmidt. I can see Michael Schmidt, but I can't hear him yet.
Can't hear me?
There you are.
We can hear you.
Hey,
Michael
Donnie.
Schmidt, how you doing?
Doing good.
Looking good, buddy.
Hello, Jack. How are you, sir?
Pretty good, Mike. Pretty good.
Thank you for your service, and thank you, more importantly, for sharing all of your experiences.
Well, thank you.
How long have you been talking to people about your experiences?
Oh, probably for the past 30 years or so.
What made you want to
start out back in we never talked, hardly any of the veterans talked hardly at all about the war until about 1991, when they came up with the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, or what's that? And that sort of opened the gates, because then it was the 50th anniversary of this battle, that battle, and the other battle, and so forth. And it kind of opened us up a lot, I think. And then I know that's when I started talking with my kids, I wrote a lot of stories about the war and that. And I think it was 1991 was the turning point. That's when most of the veterans that I know opened up and started telling their stories.
Why do you think it took so long for you guys to open up and to talk about it?
It's quite frankly, it hurt so much for most of us that were in the fighting units that you just didn't want to think about it. You didn't want to think about it. You'd start and you think, oh gosh, that's where Joe Brown got killed over there and Pete got killed over there. It's bring back some horrible memories.
So you think time heals as time goes on and you get further away from that?
Oh, yeah.
Those memories, it gets a little bit easier to talk about, right?
That's about it. And people were more accepting of it too.
Yeah.
Good question, Michael.
Yeah, great question.
Thank you. Donnie, you've done a great job building this up. Really proud of you, and hope for much more success in the years ahead.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Take care, Donnie.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Thank you, Jack.
All right.
Thanks, Michael.
All right. So D&J, what's your real name?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hear you.
Okay, my real name's Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, my husband and I
You're
share
live
the
with
account.
Jack Foy, superstar Jack Foy.
Yeah.
Great to meet you, Mr. Foy.
Nice meeting you, Dawn.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And my grandfather was 101st.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, so have you been watching?
Hey, those are the guys you rescued, right, Jack?
Yeah.
I bet your grandpa would probably say there's a different story.
Yes, he would have.
Who was he with?
Yeah,
What unit he was with?
He was 101st, the 327th
Mhm.
GIR.
Yep.
glider infantry.
Yeah.
Oh, was he a
And-
gliderman?
Yes, he was.
Wow, like George Mullins.
Yes,
Yeah.
George Mullins. I know George.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we've taken George back several times. We love him.
Yes, you did, and he enjoyed the trip so much. So I speak with him over email quite frequently. And so Grandpa went into Normandy, and he started out the 82nd, went to the 101st, and then was in from 42 to 45. And he was at Bastogne and all the way to Birch's Garden, and then he was sent home after Birch's. But my question is, I didn't find this out until I was 41, that I knew he was a screaming eagle, but I didn't know what it truly meant until I was 41 years old. So it was quite a journey in my learning late in life on what happened and things. But I'm trying to understand what kind of thing did someone tell you anything that helped you survive the war? What was your greatest piece of advice given to you that helped you survive?
Stay down. Hit the ground, dig your holes deep. The fox holes, dig them deep.
Dig him deep.
Yeah,
That's so
it's-
funny. I asked my dad what Grandpa told him to survive Vietnam. He said the same thing.
Yeah.
Keep your head down and dig a hole.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Jack, how are you able to dig a foxhole when the ground was so frozen? And
Well, what we do sometimes, we used to carry little sticks of dynamite in our pocket.
Oh.
We dig a small hole and stick the dynamite down in it, and kaboom, all of a sudden you automatically hit a hole. But of course, most of the time, really, I use more German holes than ours, because of course they kept pushing the Germans back, and they were good foxhole diggers. They had good foxholes.
Oh,
We used them
okay.
most of the time.
did they leave any food or any goods in there?
Not too often, no.
Not too often. Any blankets? No blankets?
Yeah, no.
I'm thinking of the next guy, huh?
Yeah.
Hey.
A little German sausage, maybe.
Very cool. Well, Dawn, where do you live?
I live in Wisconsin right now. I'm originally from Indiana, so I'm a Midwest
Ah.
girl, and grew up
Dawn's
with my
wife, she's from Wisconsin.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
you
is
know-
she? Yeah.
You know, James Magellan was from Wisconsin.
No, I didn't realize that.
He just passed away. He's from Fond du Lac, I believe, Wisconsin.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. As
100
soon as you said Fond du Lac,
103.
now
Yeah.
it's
The most decorated
Aggie
officer
Magellan.
of the 82nd Airborne.
oh, yep. You're right.
Yeah,
I did read all of that recently and things too. Yep.
he has a wonderful book called All the Way to Berlin. I think you should definitely read. He's it's pretty
Mm.
special.
I'll definitely have to read that because I'm trying to learn everything. I was an art history major, but in college, but we focused on older art and things. So I'm really interested in history and learning more about the war. My daughter is too. She's 16. She's done a lot of. She did a project for school, and she on World War II and everything that we have learned about my grandfather and the 101st and the glidermen. And she actually stood there and talked to the public for 2 hours, educating the public that came by to see her project.
Wow.
So I'm trying to pass it forward, and so is she, so people don't forget, because that's really important, that what you did and what you sacrificed is not forgotten.
You're right about that. Her generations are the ones that are going to push it forward.
And so she still brings it up every time they repeat history and go back to it again in class somewhat. She tries to educate her classmates. And but one teacher did not even want to teach about the war. She was afraid it would breed prejudice. And that's where I stepped in and started teaching her more. And I felt that was completely wrong by the teacher to make that statement. I think it's to learn not to be prejudiced by learning about what happened.
Yeah.
Things, so.
We're
But
great allies with Germany, with Japan, everything now. I mean, that was just, it happened back then. We're all allies now. We can't forget the past. I mean, everything's good now.
right, my husband actually works for a German company, and so We were able to go to Bastogne, not this December, last December, a year ago. We were able to go, and I'm sporting my Bastogne shirt.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'm wearing that.
Nice.
I got to be there for Nuts Day and things, so that was great to see the parade and everyone.
Yeah.
Nuts Day is quite a thing.
Yes, it
That Nuts
is.
Day is quite a thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It was cold that day. I could not imagine. I had on full winter gear, Mr. Foy. I don't know how you guys did it without any winter gear. My family froze and we had heat packs and everything.
Yeah.
And we said, how did you do it during the war and survive that? I mean,
Once they were 18, 19 years old. That helped.
Hey Jack,
It's been a little bit harder now.
Hey Jack, you didn't have any warmers to put in your boots and your gloves?
You can get them at the dollar store, Jack. Come on.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Was there
All right.
also, I had one more question, or quick question. Was there
Okay.
anything else that growing up that gave you a certain skill or anything that you took with you that helped you survive? Any other skill?
Oh, yes. You see, we grew up, almost all the World War II guys grew up right in the middle of the worst depression our country ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And we were so used to taking care of ourselves. And if you needed a hole in the ground, you didn't go around and look for the best bidder that would dig the hole for you. You grabbed a shovel and dug the hole. You knew what you had to do, and we were more used to taking orders, I guess, than the kids today are, certainly. But
Mm-hmm.
we were more self-sufficient. Maybe that's the right word. We were more self-sufficient than the people are today.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I grew up with my grandfather gardening and around him a lot, and the self-sufficiency that he had. I know it came at an early age. And I know my father told me, my grandfather, during the war, when you mentioned not much food, of shooting, because you guys had your rifles, was shooting fish out of the river to quickly get something to eat when he was over during the Bulge. So, and that was interesting. But yeah, you learned those skills. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we did what
Don?
we had to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so-
joining in with us.
Hey Don, send us a DM and we'll send you out a shirt. All right. Thank you for
Awesome. I'd love one.
yeah,
Thank you,
thanks for being
guys.
part of it.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Mr.
coming
Foy.
forward.
Thank you, DJ.
Your daughter keeps, pushing it out there to her generation.
Yep, she will too. Thank you.
Next time we get on, have your daughter join us.
Yeah.
I will. She's working on an engine with her dad right now, so I'll have her come in. She's
Oh,
learning to fly
perfect.
too.
Oh, wow.
Perfect. Awesome.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
thanks.
you.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, let's go. Oh, we got
All right, Jack.
that looks so weird. Every time she comes in, I'm like, what is happening? Oh,
Come in.
so
Come in.
ghosty.
Just come in. Yeah, come in.
Come sit. Everybody, this is Catherine, Donnie's wife.
Oh, you're still on. Sorry.
We are live. Hey, we got Ron.
Saying goodbye.
Hey, have we talked to Ron before?
Hey, Ron.
Can you hear us?
Hey, Ron, can you hear us?
Yes.
Is this the same Ron we talked to a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, she is. Hi,
No, it's a-
Catherine.
Oh,
I said hi.
Hi, Jack.
How you doing? You're looking
Catherine.
great.
She says she missed
so
you.
Ron, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear her.
No, I'm talking to Ron.
All right, Ron, we don't hear you. Nothing.
We don't hear you, Ron.
Turn your
And now?
audio.
Now
Yeah,
we can hear you.
now.
Okay.
You got a question for Mr. Foy?
Yes. My question is,
So cute.
what was your reaction when you saw the concentration camps?
Mm.
Ooh,
Oh.
heavy.
Revulsion, disgust, and a great hatred for the people who put these people in the conditions they were in. It was just almost beyond description. Those people are just so many, and people today still don't believe it. I give talks at a local college here, and quite often I get a lot of, especially from the professor, It never happened. It never happened. It's all an invention. Believe me, it's not. It happened. And it was horrible, horrible that any person, any man could do that, what they did to another man without, it's just almost beyond belief seeing the condition those people were in.
Okay, yeah, it's something that I don't think the general population can even fathom.
No,
Like,
they can't really.
I can't fathom, and we've seen it in movies, but I can only imagine that the movies don't even come close to what you saw.
Yeah, it's one of the, not one of the, it is the most terrible thing I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen an awful lot of terrible things. But those concentration camps, Ohrdruf and Buchenwald, were the two big ones that we were in, and the people in the town close by claimed that they didn't know anything about it. They had to know it. The stench coming from we could smell it a half a mile away from Buchenwald. It was so bad. Bodies stacked all over the place. And the Germans were very, very meticulous. They crisscrossed the bodies in their piles so they could pile them higher. You know, like you'd pile lumber and wood, crisscross it, and you can pile it higher. That's what they did. It was horrible, horrible.
Also, last time I talked you about my great-grandfather, who was a tanker in the Soviet Union. I have the picture of him.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So Jack, his grandfather was a tanker with the Soviet Union.
Oh.
See that picture? Yeah.
Yeah, we ran into the Soviet fighters in someplace inside Czechoslovakia. Maybe we didn't go too far into Czechoslovakia, maybe 20, 50 miles, something like that. And we ran into the Russian army there. They were a bunch of tough fighters.
When the Russians saw you, how did they react?
Oh, we had a big celebration. We sat down at a table in a little village there, remember, and we talked back and forth for an hour drinking all the wine we had.
Yeah.
And we couldn't understand a word the other guys were saying, of course. They were speaking Russian, we were speaking English, but we got along great.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, we ran out of the wine, and they wait, he pull out a bottle and poured it with it was vodka. Oh, it burned all the way down and all the way back up again. Wow, that was strong stuff. They were laughing at us. They were laughing at us.
I love it. I love it.
Very cool. Ron, thanks for coming by again, man.
Thanks for joining, Ron.
Yeah.
Did you
Did you get your package yet?
No, because
all right. Well, wait, because you're in Barcelona, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. I forgot.
Yeah. It's coming.
We sent it though. You got one coming.
It's coming.
All right, cool.
Thanks for joining us, and
you.
we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Stay safe.
Oh, got him on
What do
the
you
road.
think? So how was that, Jack? Did you enjoy yourself?
That was fine.
It's fun, isn't it?
I never expected to be people from all over the world calling, though.
Yeah.
Spain,
Yep.
Barcelona.
You just
down
think
to
of all these
Brazil.
young kids, all over the world coming in.
Yeah, even Israel this time. Yeah, really cool, really neat. I mean, a lot of them don't get an opportunity to, to connect with, with the veteran, and it's a great opportunity, and we're trying to use it right now. And I know you guys are kind of locked in your home, kind of quarantine, obviously, because we got to be safe for sure. So this gives us a way and an opportunity to, to get out there and to, to stay motivated and share your message and connect with the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jack, you are a true superstar.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You are. And if you don't think so, just ask POTUS, because he's done.
That's the president. He knows
I'll give you
by
my
name.
autograph for $1.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, you ever think about writing a book about your experiences during the war?
I have. I already did that.
You did?
Yeah, I'll have to send you a copy.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. I don't have your book. Austin, do you have his book?
No, I want one too.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah, I'll make up a couple.
Why you been hiding it from us all these years?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Hey, Jack, well, great to have you on, buddy. It's always a pleasure.
It's an honor to be here.
Where's Carol?
She's in the other room someplace.
All right, well, tell her we said that we love her and we miss her, and hopefully we can get through this and we can connect again here soon on another program. All right?
We'd love that.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks enough, Black Eyes, and all the people that are tuned in. Thanks for spending your time with us this afternoon. We really love it. We like your appreciation of our service. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And to those who were waiting and didn't get in, catch us next time. We'll get you in to ask more questions. We're going to keep doing this with more vets. I think we should have Jack come back in a couple of weeks. I like Jack.
Yeah.
It's like hanging out with Jack. I miss hanging out with Jack since we can't be where you are.
Yeah, it's a virtual.
We have so much stuff with you. We've spent so much time with you. I love every time we get to hang out with you, Jack.
It's that wild nightlife that you like.
Absolutely. Someday I can't wait to go out on the town with you. When all this is over, we're going partying.
We're doing
Me
it.
and Jack.
Good idea.
We're gonna go hit the town of Maastricht, and they won't know what hit them.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, cool.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We'll do it again.
Thanks a
and
lot,
we'll
guys.
post it up on social media who our next veteran's going to be. Thank you, Jack.
Absolutely. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.